Hello and welcome. My name is Tom and I'm going to show you some test drives that I did with my Model 3 under quite extreme conditions. So I hope you'll enjoy this video and well, let's get into what we actually did. So what we did is I tested it with my Tesla Model 3 long range dual motor. It's the European version, as we are in Europe. I have the Michelin summer tires, 18-inch with the Aero wheels. The Model 3 and the tires have approximately 6,000 kilometers or 4,000 miles at the time of the test. It's just a rough thing so that you know how much use the tires already had. Now we did this on a special test track by an automotive organization here in Austria. The test track has a special pavement which is already very slippery, and there is a film of water, like a water sled, shooting over the pavement, and it's not like simulating aqua, swimming on the water or something. It's rather simulating snow with that mixture. So it's about 10 to 12 centimeters of snow that are simulated, which is about 4 to 5 inch. So a snow film that's on there. In addition, there is also a skid plate, which is randomly left or right skid. And it basically what it does is that when you pass the skid plate with your rear wheels, it like pushes your rear wheels to the left or right, so that you start skidding with the car. And there are also obstacles that you have to get around, which are water that shoots out from the bottom. And to help this whole thing, of course, water, if you crash into it, it won't do anything to your car. Your car just gets wet, and that's why the obstacles are simulated by water and nothing else. So because you're going at relatively high speeds, and yeah, that's the thing. So we have several videos of this, and I will explain in each video what's happening and how we did this. As for myself as a driver, I'm not a professional driver, but I am a really good driver because I had a lot of training by professional drivers, and I also drove hundreds of thousands of miles in my life due to my job. So I consider myself to be an above average driver. So let's get on with it, and let's see how the Model 3 does. The first test, we had 50 kph, and as you can see here in the back, this is my Model 3 coming in. Here at the yellow markers, the simulated snow track starts, and you will see a obstacle shoot out from the ground, and I have to get around that obstacle. So when I pass this yellow marker, I'm at 50 kph or 32 miles per hour. The skid plate is not active, so there is no skidding simulated. It's just how to get out of the way of the obstacle at that speed. So let's look at that. And as you can see, of course here at the end I'm already a lot slower. Let's see that again, because of course I'm braking the whole way. So this is not like it's like snow, because I'm hitting the brakes full on, so there is no like leaving off the brake until the very end. So let's see that again. Here I start braking already, and I'm full on the brakes, so you can see, and here I think it's just before the last obstacle I'm getting off the brake to drive through. So the Model 3 handled really well on this test. The assist systems kept the tires from blocking, so the ABS system managed to really excellently have the tires not block. I think you can see it extremely well here when the car comes near the camera. Yeah, So that's a really nice one. And you see, I'm really getting around the obstacle here and not hitting the water, which is really good. So this was a very successful test, and the Model 3 performed really well. Let's get on to the next one. This is basically the same thing again, and we'll just to verify the result and to see if we can manage the whole thing. So let's get it playing. And the obstacle on the down part is a little bit shifted to the left. So they do this random so that you really have react to the whole thing and not just know where everything is coming out and stuff like that. So this is totally random where the stuff shoots up. And you can see again the Model 3 braking all the time here, and it really steers really well. You can feel when you're driving it that the front motor is also trying to pull you a little bit while the rear is still braking, so that the car gets well steady, and that's really excellent. So also this test really nicely worked, really nice, as you can see. Next one, we upped the speed. Measured, I had 62 kph, which is roughly 39 miles per hour, and we'll see how we do there. And you can see that it got a lot harder, and I actually hit the first obstacle slightly there and the second there, because the Model 3 was pushing a little bit over the front wheels, and also this was driver fault, and I'm totally into that, and probably good drivers can see that, I reacted a little bit late. So let's see that again here, and I'll see it just, yeah. And actually there you can see the spray when I hit the brakes. So I reacted a little bit slow. I should have started braking around here, and I started braking here. So this is why I actually wound up hitting the whole thing, because I was braking late. So let's see that one more time. And here we go. And this is the next one, and here we have the better reaction time. And now comes the fun stuff. Now we have the skid plate active. So you will see as soon as I pass the yellow markings here, my rear end will totally skid away from me. And of course this is a lot, not only the automated systems, but also your reaction. You really have to turn the wheel. You do not hit the brakes in this instance. You just try to like float to stabilize the car, which is a little bit difficult in an electric car, because you have a lot of regenerative braking, and if the regenerative braking is too strong, then it's much more difficult for you. So if you already expect snowy weather, then you might be better off switching the regenerative braking to low in your Tesla. So that's highly recommended, because then you can stabilize the car more easy. In this test I had it I had the whole thing on high, I think, so a full regenerative braking, And yeah, let's see how that goes. And you can see here I'm going off and car stabilizes really well. I hit the accelerator a little bit to stabilize the car, and the front motor pulls you to the front. So let's see that again. And here you can see I hit the accelerator a little bit and go straight through. So that worked out really well. Let's see that one more time. And here we go. Now we up the speed again. And the skid plate of course is again active. And let's see how that goes. And that's something very important that I wanted to show you. If your reaction is off, and I somehow expected the skid in the other direction, even the best assist systems in the world cannot save you. So as you can see here, it skids, and I hit the brakes a little bit, and that's why I don't remember exactly if I hit the brakes or just the regen kicked in fully. So I forgot to hit the accelerator a little bit to make it more floaty, and as you can see, the back now skids fully away, and there is nothing in the world that I can do now. You're just a passenger. I tried to stabilize the car to the right a little bit to at least have a frontal crash, which also fails. As you can see here, I crash sideways, which is the worst thing that can happen. So if you cannot get around an obstacle, you should always go for a front crash, because the crumble zone is the biggest there. And yeah, then we go off to the sunset. Let's see that one more time. And here's it. Wrong reaction and you're off. So don't expect the assist systems to save you if you react totally wrong. Here we have the same again. So again, same speed, about 65 kph with the active skid plate, and let's see how this one goes. And here you can see reaction is now spot on, and we go through the obstacle. Let's see that again. Now here you can see there is no braking. There's a lot less spray left and right of the car, and I already turned the wheels into the opposite direction to like stabilize the car. The front motor pulls me straight, and there we go. You really can feel inside the Model 3 that the front motor is like pulling you, and the rear motor makes this zzz sound, which is indicating that it's like using the brakes and the regen of the rear motor to like let the rear wheels float and not disturb the front motor from pulling you. So it's a really weird sensation when you do the whole thing, because here it just feels normal, and this is actually, you see, like when it comes around here, you really feel it in the car that the front is trying to pull you, which is a relatively weird sensation, but it works out really well. So and here we have a last one that well, I tried to go a little bit more fast, but it turned out to be 55 kph. So just let's see that one. And yeah, you see a lot slower, and it's like drives on the track. So this is of course, now I had a few tries, and my reaction time, of course, your reaction time goes up as well if your brain adjusts. And now you can see that it's really easy to go through the obstacle. I even course corrected at the end there, as you can see that slide wheel. Yeah, there you can see the wiggle, yeah, to get through the obstacle. So that's this one. And now we have one with additional obstacles at the back. Let's see that one. And also this works really well. So if you control the wheels, the Model 3 really stabilizes a lot. So as you can see here, I'm going sideways, I'm stabilizing, I'm like turning the wheels in the opposite direction to stabilize the car, but I still try to stabilize it a little bit to the left because the obstacle is now in front of me, and the Model 3 just slightly pushes over the rear wheels, and you can feel the front motor working. It's like a really controlled drift in the Model 3. It's not like when your rear really wants to go away with you and you have to dance the gas pedal on like in the sports car. That's rear wheel drive. This feels much more controlled, and you get easily around the obstacle, as you can see. So this is also a really nice test and really worked out really well. We did another one with 70 kph, about 45 miles per hour, and we'll see how that goes. Now you can see just a slight, slightly more speed gives you less chance to go around. As you, I think I made it, but you can see that the car slides a lot more. It still tries to stabilize it very good, and I got around the obstacle, but it's a lot harder. So remember, when you're driving in these conditions, that even a few kph or miles per hour more makes a huge difference. You really, if you are on this test track, the difference, you can feel the difference if you go 1 mile per mph or 2 kph more. You can feel it. You can feel the difference. So the best thing to do in extreme conditions is really drive slower. Do not trust that the car does everything for you. You will still crash even with the best assist systems and all-wheel drive or whatever you have. So driving slowly is by no means a bad thing. So let's get to some conclusions. The assist systems in the Model 3 work really well, and what you can really feel in the car is that the motor and the braking systems really try to stabilize you. The good thing is that even when you do something left or right or whatever, the car tries to stabilize itself, and if it cannot stabilize it, it first pushes over the front wheels, which is a good thing because a frontal crash is always better than a side crash. And only when it's already skidding, it's like controlled skid. So that's also very good, and the front motor really helps to stabilize the car. I have no reference on the rear-wheel drive Model 3, but you really can feel that the front motor helps a lot in the Model 3. And I didn't think that it would, because honestly, when driving rear-wheel drive cars like BMW, Porsches or whatever, you cannot feel much difference if you're used to rear-wheel drive cars and then you switch to a AVD on these conditions. Of course, all-wheel drive does help in a lot of conditions, but when you're already skidding, you don't really feel that it makes a huge difference, because there is so much torque on the back wheels that you will keep skidding if you hit the accelerator. And the Model 3 really does something different there, and it's a strange feeling. You would have to test it yourself. Of course, please don't test it on the road, test it on a safe test track like we did. Never try extreme conditions on the road. Still, it's not driving itself. Reaction time is really, really important, and you really have to take care on how you drive the car. And if you're unsure, go slower. If you're not a good driver and you are in conditions where snow is on the road and everything, do not overly trust any system that you have in any car. Go slow and go responsibly. That's very important. Now, we had some other cars on the track. I'm not allowed to show the footage of those because there were other drivers, and you know the whole EU law on what you can show and everything. But I can tell you a little bit about the experience that we had. The first car we had was a Porsche Panamera e-hybrid. It was a lot worse on this track, but I guess a lot of it has to do with it had really huge summer tires, and of course really broad tires, and of course the bigger the tire, the worse it gets on snow. And so it had, the handling was really bad, and it was really hard for the car to stabilize and to get it like in a flowing state that you could pull the car straight again. The next car we had a few actually BMW i3s. They were reasonably good with the assist systems, but you cannot adjust the regenerative braking at all in the i3, and it's a really harsh brake, and floating the accelerator pedal is really hard on the i3. So on the skidding test it did not as good as the Model 3, but due to the small tires it did really good on the emergency braking test. So that's the i3. Then we had some ICE cars, and of course I also want to give you that one. We had a VW Golf GTI, which is like the performance version of the Golf. This assist systems worked really well. It's a front wheel drive car, so it also has some power in the front to pull you straight if you really are good at the accelerator pedal, and overall performance of this car was excellent. So even though it's an ICE car, the whole assist systems and everything works really well, and this makes me also hopeful for the new IDs that come out, the electric cars of VW. Hopefully they will have this similar assist systems and the performance will be similarly good. Then for reference of a car with absolutely no assist systems or everything, we had a Skoda Fabia, which is a small Skoda car. It had no assist systems at all. It's a manual shift car, and of course it did extremely bad, because it all depends on your reaction performance and how you brake everything. If you just tip the brakes a little bit, it will block on this surface, and so this was really bad. And then we had a Mercedes E-Class AMG C63, which is well, high performance E-Class model. It did okay. The assist systems were really good, but it was of course a little bit overwhelmed again with the very big summer tires on this surface. This is a really bad thing. So I wanted to share this also because it really makes you also see that really good winter tires are important for your car. And if you get winter tires, get smaller ones. So for example, if you have like 19-inch or 21-inch summer tires on your Model 3 or something, for the winter tires I really would recommend you to get the 18-inch wheels, because it's just a smaller wheel will give you in snowy conditions a better performance than the broad tires. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video and you can take some lessons from it. thanks for watching. Of course, if you're interested in a Tesla and purchasing a Tesla, I would feel honored if you use my referral link, and you will get, of course, a little bit of free supercharging with that referral link. So there's of course something in it for you also. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm not like a hugely regular uploader, but I try to do some interesting stuff here and then. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy this. Thanks again, and I hope to see you soon.